Hi there, Andy Ron here with Montana Land Source. It is October 4th, 2023, and this is the video summary of the weekly Montana Land Report that gets put out every Wednesday here from Montana Land Source. In the market over the past week, we saw 20 total property updates, and we've just been hovering around that number as an average week after week. This past week, 9 new property listings, which is relatively high, 3 price changes, all price decreases. 1 property back on the market, 4 pending sales, and 3 sales. So again, dominating this week is new listings. Volume of available properties on the market is actually up 10%, or I should say 9% from a year ago today. These are live stats I'm looking at on mtlandsource.com. So inventory is a bit up. Our all-time low was December of last year when it hovered below 300 properties on the market. Today it's 368, so up a little bit, but still a lot lower than what we're used to in the past. New listings is down almost 60% from a year ago. Even though inventory is rebuilt a little bit, that's due to not as many sales, not as many listings, but also not as many sales. Sales are down 71% from a year ago today. So we're in this low volume environment in terms of sales and in terms of inventory on the market. Also interesting is average price per acre, or I should say median price per acre for sales, is exactly where it was a year ago today. So 0% change in median sale price. I did get a call the other day from a seller or a would-be seller asking about the market stats that he was looking at on mtlandsource.com and how applicable those were to valuing his property. And the answer to that is not at all. The market stats are really more about overall market trends and are not appropriate to apply to any one property. Our averages and medians are for the entire state for all properties 200 acres and larger, and it would be a mistake to try to correlate with that with any given property. But the real value lies in the stats for charting change in the market and status of the market, that kind of stuff. In news, the most recent edition of the Ranch Investor podcast, which I was on with Colter DeVries, very, very fun and interesting. We had a young man from the United Kingdom. Alex Johnson is a new young sheep farmer rancher in the UK, very interested in regenerative agriculture. He was touring the US, doing research and visiting demonstration farms and research farms and whatnot to educate himself further on regenerative agriculture in particular, but stopped by to be on our podcast, and it was really fun talking to him, getting that international perspective, and also just talking a lot about sheep, which was interesting because those who are in Montana and from Montana know that in the history, sheep played a large role in ranching in Montana, but kind of fell out of favor over the last 100 years or so, but have kind of been making a comeback. So interesting conversations there on that podcast. I'm going to link to that podcast in this video, and it's also available at mtlandsource.com. And then in news, tomorrow, the Montana Farm and Ranch Brokers meeting, the monthly meeting of the Farm and Ranch Brokers, is having a consultant. I think he's an international consultant, but he works with the Wilks. And those in Montana will recognize that name. The Wilks brothers are one of the largest, if not the largest private landowner in Montana. And this consultant is going to talk to us about carbon credits. Apparently he's done some work with the Wilks on this, and will speak to us on carbon credits, which is always a new and interesting topic for those in the land market. That meeting takes place physically in Billings, Montana tomorrow, Thursday at 8:30, but it's also available online via Zoom, and it's also a location in Bozeman and in Missoula. So if you go to mtlandsource.com on the events page, you can find links to that organization and that meeting. That is the news for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week.